What's up, everybody? It's your boy Corey, aka GQ Saint, back for another reaction video. It's gonna be Japanese swords as per react to, some of the gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I still love this game. I actually did beat it, but I went ahead and started a new game, just to make sure, because usually when sometimes when I play games, I used to just play through the story, but the second when I start over, I go through all the walk. I do try to get 100% on everything. So that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, so I could be pretty much a true legend in that game. Anyway, don't want to talk too long. Let's go and dive onto the video, see how their perspective is. Once again, special request, drop a comment below. Let's get it.
Impossible. He's absorbing all of his force into their collarbone. I think I like the way he stands for stone.
Yeah, I love doing that move.
And I really like the parrying because it's all based on timing. It's right when the opponent's weight is slightly off because they're committing into that attack. My name's Lawrence Mock. I'm a martial artist with a background in Japanese martial arts. I've been training for about 13, 14 years, specifically in Japanese karate, aikido, and kenjutsu.
My name is Brennan Hewer. I'm a professional stuntman and motion capture performer and fight coordinator for video games, TVs, and movies. I've done stuff for DC's Titans, Mortal Kombat 11. I've done some promotional stuff for Ghost of Tsushima, and I've been a martial artist for almost 30 years now.
So we know this was highly requested. We'll be reviewing gameplay from Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm super excited. I just beat this, and I did some promotional stuff on this too. Facial capture and everything.
Oh, that's what's up too.
So we're super excited to be here, but safety is always important. So you can see we have a plexiglass barrier, as well as wearing masks while
they
we're
need
on
to
set
make that glass bigger. I love doing that move like I'm Spider-Man.
First thing to kind of really talk about that's really important is with very traditional kenjutsu, we don't really use a lot of grappling hooks to swing around, so there's not much for me to really give expertise on there because, I mean, let's be honest, look at me. I wouldn't be able to do anything like that.
This Jin right here doesn't have the assassination upgrade yet.
Yeah.
I got that as soon as I could. Where the one where he just comes up and just stabs people. And they just
I like
drop.
that.
Grappling hook always does feel really cool when you're using it in the game. It always feels like you're like a feudal Japan Batman.
Spider-Man. Batman, yeah, but more Spider-Man.
It's cool, but I want to see someone try to jump 50 feet down and land without breaking both their legs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm being hypercritical, I know.
He's absorbing all of his force into their
person's
collarbone. Into their stab.
The thing about Ghost of Tsushima that I really did appreciate with this is a lot of the kenjutsu, minus the assassinations and the Assassin's Creed look and stuff, is that the kenjutsu in this game is actually very solid. Like those two cuts right there, the 1, 2, very solid. Both hands are there. You're seeing that the full body is getting involved in the cut, so it's not just flailing with the arms.
I will say though that the chain assassinations that they keep showing. It's like the second one is almost always that spin around and then slashing them in the back, where almost all the opponents have some sort of back armor on them, and then they're just like
it would just bounce.
Yeah, they're just slicing through their back armor like butter. Jin, like throughout the entire story, never cleans his sword once. Like I mean, he kind of like wipes it on his arm.
Yeah.
But
he never actually cleans his sword.
No, and then with all the incendiary oil, he just sheaths it right from being on fire.
The inside of his sheath is probably gross as hell.
I'll say one thing that I think they really nailed for the entire Ghost of Tsushima game is it really kind of, especially when you're doing these big group fights, it looks so much like the old, like Chambara Japanese samurai films. They did such a good job like making the fight system.
I love wearing the mask. I really never wore him.
So like
a
lot of the stuff, even though it's not
and
completely realistic,
I love the Ghost Armor.
like I feel like it's done as an homage to those type of movies.
Right, because even a lot of those movies aren't historically 100% accurate either. Part of it is the entertainment aspect. If it was completely 100% historically accurate, this would not be as fun of a game as it is.
Right, and that's something that we really throw the line all the time when we're doing shows that are historically based. Like, yes, it's important to make it real and believable, but you got to make it entertaining as well. Otherwise, nobody wants to watch it.
Right. We've actually had minor discussions about the different stances already. So right there, that's actually really good Iaijutsu. I don't like that kamae or that positioning personally because it doesn't make a lot of sense to hold it up like that. To me, at least. I'm not saying it's incorrect.
That's the water stance one, right? You don't like that one?
Yeah,
that's the one. You don't like the moon one either, right?
The moon one's weird because you're just pointing at the sky, personally. Like I said, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just the style we practice, we don't use it, is the best way to put it.
Personally, in the different stances that he uses, I think I like the way he stands for stone the best, which is just the
Right, the in no kamae there.
yeah, in no kamae.
When we keep saying the word kamae, kamae is it's roughly translates to like positioning. In no kamae is a very defensive stance, like he's holding right now.
Yeah, it's funny when you
Yeah, I
see Jin
noticed
get into
that.
any of the standoff, you can already see his hand
I
on
love
the
the
sword.
standoff.
Which, to anyone who practices Japanese sword, anyone knows that means that they're ready to draw at any moment. So for his opponent to
To
try
just
to
run in,
to
yeah.
try to come in is always really funny. Although later on they do get much better about faking you out.
Yeah.
God, yes.
It's when
See,
they
now
yell.
you're making
Fake
fun
it.
of me because I was
I
complaining
have
about
yet
that.
to feel a fake
Because I was so
out.
bad
I've
at
yet
it.
Give
to
you the
feel it,
opportunity to bring it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I'll be
I don't
patient.
want to bring it up. I did really enjoy the archery in this game, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
archery's pretty
Obviously,
cool.
in terms of gameplay, shooting hornets'
They
nests.
actually put more details,
It's a
such
good
as far
distraction,
away,
but
you gotta
it's
aim
a
the
little
bow
unconventional.
a little
I've heard for
higher,
Japanese
so
kendo,
it
they
actually can
sight
reach it.
below the arrow as opposed to above the arrow like we normally do. So it is kind of cool to see Jin kind of lifts the bow up and then drops it into position rather than just drawing.
Yeah, like even there, that parry there, you see when he does the parry and he moves, he's not moving towards the shield side. He's trying to get to the open area
Yeah.
to counterattack. So you see right there, he's not dodging where the shield is. He's moving to the open area to get an attack in. So I don't know broadsword. You might know a little bit better than me, but do you ever have it sitting on over your shoulder like that when you're using it?
Well, what they're using is not single broadsword, like especially these types
Right.
of enemies, they're using a much bigger version of the typical broadsword.
Right. I can't get over the EI in this game. It's so
Yeah.
good. The quick drawing right
I'm
there.
trying to see
Yeah,
what's
dueling.
the
So fun to
name
do every
of that
time.
type
You
of
just call
sword.
them out and stand off.
If only I wasn't so bad at it.
That dude using standoff, it's different from the the regular broadswords
that
in
was
China.
one thing. It's like even in the beginning, when you get the kunai and you throw them at people, the kunai do so much damage.
Oh yeah. Is there a bear on the ship?
I hated bears.
We're used to seeing kunai from like Naruto and stuff like that, and them being super powerful. But from what I understand, like they're just farming tools.
Yeah,
They're basically
mostly
garden
used
spades.
for
People are
distraction.
using it as
Like
throwing them.
shuriken.
But yeah, there's a lot of traditional karate weapons that come from farming implements. Kama, sai, tonfa, the ore in some styles.
I really loved.
I
the
get to
dueling
train in
in
sides
this
and Tonfa.
game,
I wanna
especially
train
because
in
they made it
those.
so cinematic with these setups, and what he does here is actually correct. Because what happens is when you're getting ready to draw your sword, in order for the sword to hold in place, it kind of holds itself. So
I
in
love
order to be
that.
able to draw a little bit quicker and with a little less resistance, you want to pop it away from the sheath.
And a lot of times, because of the EI, you're slicing
Yeah,
right out of the
jutsu.
draw. You know, you don't want that extra
Yeah,
resistance
definitely- I
to
definitely
hold
wanna
you
study
back, even though
EI
you
jutsu
could
one
just,
day.
like,
Force it,
brute
yeah.
force
Teacher
rip
told
it
me a
out.
little
And I
bit
really
of
like the
Kenjutsu,
pairing because
just
it's all
only
based on
small
timing. And you
beginners.
can
That's the
see
one
when
I
the parry
definitely
happens,
want to
especially
learn more.
those
Definitely
perfect
want to learn
parries.
EI jutsu.
It's right when the
Like I said, I
opponent's
see myself
weight
as a martial
is
arts dude. I
slightly
love
off
all
because
types
they're
of
committing
martial
to that
arts.
attack.
It's the best style. It's the martial art. That's
It
what
might
I live
make
by.
me sound mean, but that always made me laugh with the Heavenly Strike, where he just gets hit by thunder or lightning.
Oh, you don't know that technique?
No, I don't.
Sorry,
the environments
y'all.
were
Know the
so pretty.
ad.
It's
Yeah,
so
the
beautiful.
graphics
I
were
remember
beautiful.
when I first booted up the game, and Brendan knows this because we were talking about this while we were playing the game, but I was literally just exploring the map non-stop in the beginning, just doing side missions and everything before even doing a lot of story, just
Yeah,
because
that's why
a lot
I'm
of it was
doing a
seeing
lot
such
more
beautiful
nowadays. The
cinematics
side
like this.
missions.
It's almost comedic at times because you'll be going from a very green area and then all of a sudden you go
In
into the area
snow.
that's like completely autumn.
Yeah.
And it's just like all the leaves are changing and then yeah, like you said, another area is all snow.
Right, and
They
that part
different
that is
word
really
they
cool.
put off
One thing I
of
really
this.
love they did with this
I
game
can't
is
remember
when you
when the
set
trailer first
waypoints,
came out.
the way
about
it
a year
directs
ago.
you is by
yeah, they share
the
every
wind
detail
guiding you.
just
So
right.
it's a
So
great way to
wherever
direct
you're
you to
trying to
your
make a
location
game,
without
look
it
as epic as
intruding on
this.
the cinematic aspect of this whole thing.
Take
Yeah,
your
it's
time.
It's really immersive.
Don't
I'm
rush
by no
through
means
it.
an expert climber, but
Same, neither am I.
this is not how you climb.
No.
Especially with all that armor on. They even make a comment
Yeah.
on it in the game. Like Yuna makes a comment about how she had to like strip a bunch of armor off of Jin just to drag him,
Right.
you know, to safety in the beginning of the game.
And then here he is kind of flying around like Spider-Man, grappling hook onto everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
just making
love.
Lara
I still
Croft,
had that
like,
game. I still
jumping
played.
leaps to every handhold.
like
Every
that.
now and then Spider-Man.
Like that.
I don't know if
You
I
can
ever get
see
rid
in
of
the-
Spider-Man.
the version
Definitely,
that he's wearing, the leg
definitely
armor doesn't
top
have
one of
any
my
sort of
top
hip
favorite
hinge.
superheroes.
So,
Right.
like him trying to go down on a knee or like roll the way he does.
That's just
like,
Yeah,
gonna
all that
kill
even if you
armor.
rolled, you would just.
It looks
you'd be
kind
on
of
your
funny.
back. I mean, in stunts, we do a lot
I
of
just
like
when I was
wire
upgrading
work
my
and stuff,
my
and then
travel
using,
outfit,
you know, tech lines
like a
to do
cape,
anything, especially
headband,
anything
yeah.
that's where the line's
It
going
just-
from
it just looks more
slack to,
cooler
like,
that way,
tight
ran
like
just
that.
wearing a
You
full
can only
samurai
use
outfit.
line like that so many times before you have to like not use that line anymore.
Oh, buddy,
and Jin
so-
uses the exact same grappling hook throughout the entire game.
Right.
That thing would have broken.
Oh no, that rope would be gone. I mean, this was something that was done to improve your swordsmanship, to work on your cuts. Nowadays, I don't see this as often. Like, if you ever look online and you see people doing stuff like this,
In a way,
it's more
that's how they,
a single
test
bamboo mat,
the
because this can
katanas.
get very expensive very quickly. You're cutting
These
through a
that
lot of
you
stuff
rat through
frequently. So a lot of
rice-
people tend to
right,
use
I think it's
more
called
what's
rice
called a
mats
tatami
and,
mat or a straw
bamboo.
mat that's rolled up, and they tend
Yeah,
to cut through
because
those.
base they roll up.
Like I said, I'm not an expert on
flesh
this,
and
on this
bamboo.
exercise,
Man,
but
it's bone with this.
trying to go through 7 at a time
Yeah.
seems kind of excessive.
Yeah.
Most katanas are made of steel. For me personally, I wouldn't use a live blade besides doing something like tameshigiri, which is cutting the mats. Normal day-to-day
mats.
practice, things like that, just training. We use wooden swords normally at this point. We wouldn't use a steel blade, especially a shinken, which is the live blade, because that's A, dangerous, but B,
Yeah.
they're expensive, and if you start damaging them, it's very hard to repair a chip in the blade. I really wouldn't want to have something like a cape, you know? It's good for keeping you warm, but if I'm in a fight, that can tangle me up, it can get wrapped around my arms, I can
Yeah.
trip on it if it's long enough. It's just something that wouldn't want to have on me during a sword fight.
No capes.
But
Personally,
yeah, the
I
traveler's
wouldn't do
attire
it, but
is kind of what
I just did
stuck
because I
the
like
entire
to make
game.
myself,
In terms of,
because
like,
that drip
movement-wise,
make
the way
it
Jin
myself look
moves,
clean.
It's the one that
So
seems
you
to
see
make
this
most
drip
sense. Like,
right
it doesn't
here?
have like armor pieces that are getting in the way. And
Right. The shorter sword would usually be more of a backup in case you lose your main weapon. In the game,
Yeah.
the insides of the buildings are big open spaces, right? But that's not always going to be the case. You might not have a big open space indoors, so you have to have a backup to be able to fight without hitting the walls and getting stuck.
I will say that does
True.
reflect in the game too. Though, is like all the assassination stuff is usually done with the
tanto.
short sword. Yeah, he comes up and just
Yeah.
stabs him through the neck or
Poke.
Basically, those are
I
basically
went
the
in with
draw,
high
especially
expectations on how
when
it
you're
was going
that
to look, and
close.
I was still blown away with how beautiful the scenery was.
I really
Yeah,
like that it
everything
hits
was
this
beautiful.
balance between, realistic actual sword fighting and then like a very cinematic design to the sword fights. So I think them being able to hit that balance and still make it a playable and satisfying game is a huge accomplishment, and it feels really good to play. So that was us reviewing Ghost of Tsushima. Hope you guys liked it. If you want to see more
Yeah.
content like this, make sure you check
It's
out
good
the
to give,
Gameology YouTube
experts'
channel and Facebook
opinion.
page. And yeah, that's us.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
cool video. Yeah, I liked it a lot. So it's good to see, the old expert's opinion, what is correct, not correct, like their own personal critique about this. So yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, still a great game. I don't know when I might actually get rid of trade games, because basically, may have PS4. Some games I ain't playing in a while. It's harder, just up or delete memories. But when I first got the game, I had a whole bunch of stuff still saved, so I had to, delete some old games I never played. Well, haven't played in a long, long time. Especially I don't even have anymore. So, yeah. So, anyways, what you guys think of the video? How you feel about their opinion? Their critique about this? Make sure you give a boy a like, comment, and subscribe. Have a nice day. Peace.